Welcome in, friends. It's hashtag Real Race Talk on your Monday, the Revved Up Sports Show livecast. Live. And I stress that each and every time that we do one of these programs, I stress live because that's exactly what we are. We are live each and every time. So thank you all for being a part of this wherever you were checking this out. If you happen to be on the YouTube page, I do ask, and the Facebook page, the social media pages, if at all possible, like, subscribe, and share that. We want as many people to be able to dive up in this as possible. If you happen to be checking in on X, whether it be on the Revved Up page on X or whether it be on the Dirty Air page or some of the other spots that this is being showcased this evening, we do ask that you would give us a little like right there as well and share because we want as many people to dive in as possible. My name is Rodney Rodriguez, diving in with you guys tonight. Of course, Showtime Bobby Chaffee is my co-host. As you all know, probably from social media, Bobby working. Obviously, it's been a really rough go for Bobby and his family. So he may be on tonight. He may not be. It doesn't really matter. We'll guide this thing through. We're going to be thinking about Bobby and his family here for the next couple of weeks. So whenever you go to your time, wherever you give thanks and give those special thoughts or whatever, keep Bobby and his family, Bobby, Liz, obviously his sister Jessica, just the entire family right there. Keep them in your thoughts. They've had one hell of a 48, 49 days here, and it goes well beyond that as well for them. So keep them in your thoughts if you at all get the opportunity. I would love to hear your thoughts throughout the program. You are perfectly free to message right there on the Audiovisual Consultations chat line, and the show is presented by Audiovisual Consultations. They'll set your home theater, home Speedway system up. If you get a hold of my man Tom McKay by January 31st, which is right around the corner, he can have you set up for the Super Bowl, which is coming up on February the 9th. On top of that, coming up right after that, you'll have the Daytona 500. You'll have all of NASCAR. So he can get you all set up systems in his warehouse here in Round Rock up to 150 inches on those screens. So it's something that you definitely may want to do, not so much just with the viewing experience, but the sound experience that Tom is going to hook up right there. A really cool thing there as well. Also, on-demand shirts right there out of San Antonio. And what moves we're seeing from on-demand shirts right there is they have come on with stems with South Texas IMCA modified series. We pulled up that schedule last week, as they're expanding that thing, now adding Heart of Texas Speedway, not really south. I call it the equator, but I think that's really cool there as IMCA Racing. So those are the title sponsors. My man Chris Birmingham checking in. All good, brother. All good. Waiting for the rain. I'm actually going to be on the road coming up on Wednesday. I will be heading to Kansas City for some work. So I'll be getting you guys some updates from the different nuances right there along the road. Kansas City, how about those Kansas City Chiefs, guys? And I posted that on Facebook that I would gladly debate you guys about the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, I post stuff on social media just to kind of get a rise out of people. And I know my man Milton Hope, announcer extraordinaire over at Cotton Bowl Speedway, messaged me last night. He was catching a hell of a lot of grief for some of his comments there. Super Bowl 59 coming up, as it would be on February the 9th, and it will be Philadelphia and Kansas City. So that's what you've got when it comes to all of that. On the show this evening, coming up here at 6:45, that's less than 10 minutes out. Going to talk to Ray Doyon. You've seen him on this program many, many times. He's going to be talking about a massive event that's coming up this weekend. All of this weather permitting as we talk about it. Weather could be an issue. In the words of Ken Squire, you are looking at a weather event. We could have some weather stuff, but again, this is why we always tell you to channel in and check in on your racing, whether it's a racetrack or a racing series. Be sure to check out those Facebook pages, social media pages, because that's where you're going to get all the information on what's really happening right there in real time. But you've got a really big one, the Texas Showdown, that's supposed to be coming up this Saturday. That is set for this Saturday there at I-37 Speedway. And what I was really jazzed up about on this show, because in later, coming up around 7:15, I'll talk to Ryan Miller's going to join me, and we'll talk about Big O Speedway, which is over in Ennis. So that's where with the show right here, and this just as a lot of people that I've been talking to here the last couple of weeks, to where it's like some folks don't understand unless you're actually in Texas how big Texas is. I mean, we talk a lot about, Texas, everything's bigger and better in Texas, all the whatever, right? I mean, you hear all the different things that go back and forth all the time, but just tonight, what we're talking about, we're gonna start down south. You've got the Austin area. We're going to go a little bit further down south, and then we're going to go out towards I-37. We're going to go along the coast, and we're going to talk to Ray over in Pleasanton. They're on I-37 Speedway. I mean, it's called I-37 Speedway for a reason, because it's on I-37. And a lot of people say, well, that track in San Antonio, that track is not in fucking San Antonio. It's a San Antonio area track, because it services a lot of drivers out of San Antonio. But when you really want to look at, and Owen Pittman joined us on the show last week talking with the schedule drop right here for the South Texas Race Ranch. What you really have right there is with I-37 Speedway in Pleasanton, and then with the South Texas Race Ranch, that's right there along that I-37 thing. When you go off into Corpus Christi, kind of veer off right there, you can either go down to the Bayfront and go see all the cool stuff, go see the 2-story Whataburger. It's like, I get a lot of folks, it's like, I'm going to go to Corpus. What do I need to do when I go to Corpus? I'm like, go get a hamburger. Go to the Whataburger, because it's a 2-story Whataburger, for crying out loud. And those aren't just laying around everywhere. I know that it's only a burger. I know it's only a burger, but it's like Mel Tillis said back in the 70s. It's bigger than a burger. It's a Whataburger. God, showing my age. And I'm really going to show my age here in just a second. But you got that. And then after we talk to Ray, when we talk to Ryan Miller, we're going to go straight up 35. And if you are familiar with how 35 works, it's like, what in the hell is 35 west south? What in the hell is 35 east south? Well, I mean, you guys know, if you're going to go to Dallas, if you're going to go to anything remotely in the Dallas area, you go east south. Or east north. I'm sorry. If you're going to do anything towards Fort Worth, you go the other direction. I mean, that's the way that works. That's how big this is. And both of these racetracks doing some stuff this weekend. That 37 event is going to be massive, and that's for the folks that are really jazzed up and really wanting a lot of IMCA modified races. I mean, that's really how you cap this thing off. I mean, that's how you cap the season and start the season. When you want to tap a keg of beer, I mean, that's exactly how you do exactly what's about to happen right there at I-37. So speaking of showing my age before Ray comes on here. So today is January 27th, 2025. And I was looking at this yesterday. I get very nostalgic about different things. And growing up a kid of, sitcoms and going to racetracks and all this, and I'm the biggest Smokey and the Bandit fan that you're going to find. There's a Smokey and the Bandit movie poster back here, for crying out loud. I'm going to ask you guys, if you happen to know, if you happen to even have some semblance, and throughout all the weed and beer and different things that you have done in your life, people of my generation, do you happen to know what you were doing on January 26th, 1979? I'll let you think about that for about 5-10 seconds. January 26th, 1979. What were you doing? I'll tell you what I was doing. I was being fascinated by something that I saw on television that changed my life, and to this day is the coolest thing that ever hit the earth. Never mean it no harm. January 26th, 1979 was the premiere of the Dukes of Hazzard on CBS television. And that right there, I mean, not only the guys with the General Lee, the guys, doing things, on probation, doing the different, that right there, that lady right there, how many lives of youngsters did she change? And that dude right there, a lot of you probably had a disciplinarian right there, right? That lived like Denver Pyle, man. And that guy, that's a bad son of a bitch right there. The great Sorebook and Boss Hogg. January 26th, 1979, the premiere of the Dukes of Hazzard. And that's obviously that show not able to be seen anymore. And that's that really sucks. But that's just kind of the way it works. And Birmingham checks in. He was 6 months old. I was a little bit older than that. We're getting the hell yeahs right there. So yeah, that's how it all worked out back then on January. God, when you go back and you think about that really puts a lot of things in perspective when you go back and look at that. Couple of things that I do want to talk about. Here we go. I knew that they would be coming. Oh, Daisy. Oh, Catherine Bach. That she used to have her legs insured. I mean, those legs, those stems were so whatever that she had to have those things insured. Just in case. So that's I think that show had a lot of significance with a lot of us, just in the whole sense. I mean, for me with the Dukes of Hazzard, it was one of those things to where I was a lot of times what would happen, because back 79 up through I would say 80, I don't know, 83. No, through the 80s. We would go to Speedorama. We did Longhorn Speedway in the Austin area, and Austin was a Friday night track at that time. So we would get out there. So a lot of times what would happen for me is the Dukes of Hazzard season, I would have to catch it in reruns. You remember back in the old days, they would run the full season there, whatever the networks ordered for the shows, whether it was 18, 23, 24, 25, 6 shows, they would run them through. And then when the season ended, they would recycle those and run them all through again. So I usually caught them on the replay because Friday nights we were over at Speedorama, so I had to catch, on the replay. And that, the only way that I had any idea what was going on was anybody remember the TV guide? I mean, it's like now you hit the remote and it's like, okay, here's what the program's about. Back in the old days, you had to like read a TV guide. You had to buy it at the grocery store right there at the checkout line to see what was going to be happening right there. And it would say like R for repeat, so definitely times have changed quite a bit. Speaking of time changes quite a bit. I saw right before I came on the show that NASCAR apparently has decided and posted, because when they actually go out and they post it, I mean, that's where their balls are hung, and that means that's what's going to happen. No changes to the playoff system coming up in 2025, possibly keeping the door open for 2026. The only reason that I bring this up is that a lot of fans, racing enthusiasts, not fans of the playoff system and the way that the playoff system works. But as I am sitting here doing the show live, doing the live cast, telling you that the NASCAR playoffs is not changing, I'm actually watching something on ESPN where it is one of these golf events where you've got Tiger Woods, you got Rory McIlroy, and they're like at the Top Golf. They're out at Top Golf, and if you've been to Top Golf, or you've been to one of these virtual places right there, they're actually out there. You tee off, and you tee off into the screen, and I do have a point to this. And then once that lands over there, you actually go on a green, and then you have to sink the putt. And this is where I go back to the whole NASCAR playoff situation, to where it has gotten at this point. Look, it's Monday night. It's Monday night, January 27th, and there's not a major golf tournament. There's not anything going on, but yet you turn on the 4-letter network, and you have 2 of the biggest golfers in the world doing a made-for-TV presentation, which some will say that's what the NASCAR Cup Series has become, with the playoffs, which with everything that they do with stage breaks, and that's why it all kind of correlates for me with the news coming out that NASCAR is not going to be changing that playoff system. The entertainment value is something that they really feel is working. I think it's a finite amount of people that aren't happy with that situation, that don't like the way that works out. But at the same time, it's a bigger field of people that actually do like the way it works out. And I think what it all comes down to, very much in the situation with what we're dealing with the Super Bowl that's coming up in 2 weeks. If this was the Redskins and Buffalo, I think people would say this season is great. This has been a great season of the National Football League, because you have Buffalo, a team that has struggled and lost 4 Super Bowls in a row and doing whatever. And, Washington, a show that, come on. I think a big part of the fandom of the Washington team is that you have a shift in the political standpoint in Washington. And that's fine. If that's what it takes for you to be a fan of that team, that's great. But I think if you had that matchup, we would have a much different idea than what we have with Philadelphia and Kansas City, because it's like, in my case, I hate Philadelphia. I can't stand them. They have the worst fans. People don't like Kansas City because they win all the time. It's that Jimmy Johnson effect. By the way, Jimmy Johnson now the majority owner of Legacy Motorsports Club. You have that. You have the Patrick Mahomes. You have the penalty thing. You have the inside jobs that are supposedly happening. You have the Taylor Swift effect. You have all of that, where in a small amount of time, what could have been an amazing matchup in 4 hours, we saw what could have been an amazing matchup and made an NFL season miraculous, has suddenly turned it into a shitty season because the same two teams are at it. And this is where I go back to the NASCAR thing, is where the season that we just watched, while there were lots of hiccups and there were lots of different things that were going on, it 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 came down to it came down to it came down to Joey Logano winning that race, and that was the problem. I mean, that was the problem right there, to where a lot of folks thought that, what came out of this season was not a good thing. And in a long-winded way of saying everything, that's just the way that all of that works out. So the entertainment value in whatever we're looking at, that's how this all correlates. Anyway, I do want to talk about as well. I know Ray is set to jump on. Ray, I just sent you another link right there. It's in Messenger. Dive on there. That'll get you right into the studio. It's one of those things to where when you look at what Kevin Harvick is doing, because you had a couple of events going on there at Kevin Harvick's Kern County Raceway, and we're seeing something right there to where Kevin Harvick, when it comes to influential people that now in motorsports, Kevin Harvick is one of those guys. I mean, from being on television and doing different thoughts and so forth. I mean, Kevin Harvick has really come in, and now, I mean, the thing about it is now with the problem that was going on there at Bakersfield. Obviously, Bakersfield ceasing operations right there, a long family-run business. Kevin Harvick has come in and is going to be salvaging the dirt side of that, and that's where I think that the NASCAR appeal does really, like I say all the time, I think that it really does help us that you have those NASCAR figures in there that are a part of this, because what they're going to do is going to pay back to local and regional short track racing if they are really invested, as it appears that Kevin Harvick is, and that Dale Earnhardt Jr. is, and that a lot of these guys are. And look, I mean, I think a lot of this is for Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick has a kiddo that is going to be coming through the ranks. Kevin Harvick has a kiddo that's maybe it's going to be racing legends. I mean, we're watching Kyle Busch's kiddo do stuff, and Kyle Larson's, and I got to tell you, this is where, when we talk about the youngsters that are being a part of the sport, when you have, I know a lot of folks where it's like, well, those kids are getting those rides, those kids are getting those opportunities because of who the parents are, and the dollars and the money that they have with them. And I totally get that, because at times that is very, very frustrating. But I think in cases like this, it's a situation to where having those influential parents that really do want their kids that have decided that they're going to be a part of racing, having those parents is something that's going to grow the sport. Because when you think about that, Kevin Harvick pulling in the what was going on at Bakersfield, I mean, that's a save for dirt track racing, because otherwise, I mean, you got the pavement track, but then when that goes away, I mean, when the dirt track goes away, if there's not another outlet that Kevin Harvick is giving, then you got a lot of people, like we know very well here in Texas, that ain't got shit, that have nowhere to race. So Kevin Harvick doing a really good thing right there. And I mean, I happen to think that he needs to be applauded, and it really is. I mean, like Michael Lindsay checking in right here. I mean, it does. It brings attention and excitement to have them involved. And the thing about it is, with these different events that you see, whether it be chili bowls or Tulsa shootouts or the dome and all the different things that I've been talking about here the last couple of weeks, when you have those events and you have those people that have some sort of skin in the game, whatever you want to call it, that's definitely something that's going to build, and it's going to help all of us. So big shout out there to Kevin Harvick. And by the way, that on the pavement side, I haven't talked a lot about pavement here in the last couple of weeks. I got to tell you, that racetrack looks tremendous. That ARCA field did not look tremendous at all. 13 cars early in the season, but I get it. I totally get it. All right, let's dive in. I was talking earlier on the show as we opened up right here about events that are coming up, because I mean, it's go time. I mean, it's time to get after it right now. And I am super excited that right here in my neck of the woods in South Central Texas, my friends over at I-37, man, we're really seeing a lot of people that are really hungry for modified racing. And I-37 Speedway over in Pleasanton, man. They've got one. We haven't seen one like this in a long time, and it's coming up this weekend. Again, weather permitting. Be sure to check Facebook pages. We're not trying to jinx anything. But our man Ray Doyon checked in. Ray, you guys getting set for this is a big damn deal, my man. How's preparations going?
It's going good today. We were out there, quite a few of us working all day today, and got a lot done. We just prepping for a chance of bad weather and trying to get ahead of it a little bit, packing the pits, getting them packed down so that if we do get some moisture, it'll run off faster.
Ray, can I talk about how all this one came together? Because we had a big modified event over in Waco, and now with stems and everything, but people are really yearning right now, and they really want big ass modified shows. How did this one all come together, man? Because this is one of the biggest ones that I can remember in recent memory.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm a racing junkie, so anytime there's an opportunity to, put on something big, I'm all in. But I got to give a shout out to, you see my shirt here, Steve Whitaker Jr.
I like
he kind of, knew we wanted to do something, reached out to Stevie, and he was all about it. And he was like, let's do this, and let's do it for the mods, let's make it big. And so Stevie kind of was what do you say, like one of the driving forces behind it. And then Johnny Torres, of course, we've leaned on Stevie and Johnny quite a bit for information and racing formats and ideas and payouts. So I want to give a lot of credit to those guys. And then Mike tipping up, and really another big driving force behind wanting to do something this big. Three great guys that are really have put a lot of effort and thought. We've had a group chat now for 3 months because we tried to have this in December and got rained out, and dagnabbit, I don't want to let that happen this weekend. So we just pushed everything back a day, and we're moving forward with everything. And we have a ton of guys coming from out of state, a lot of guys, big name guys. So it'll be a good opportunity for people to come watch some guys that don't normally race in this area.
Ray, do you think that with that cancellation in December, because even though December kind of, people will say that's the end of the year, but it's really not. I mean, it don't end. I mean, it goes on and on and on. But do you think that, and again, weather permitting, hopefully everything works out this weekend, do you think that maybe the shift with those guys that are now have an opportunity to come down here, do you think that maybe it was a blessing in disguise that you push that shit out? Because, man, from what I'm seeing, you guys are going to be loaded with talent in this race.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's we've definitely looked at that, and you're on track with what's happening. We see the opportunity for guys to have taken a 6-week break, and revamp and get. They're frustrated with the snow and the cold weather, so they want to get out of those states and come down to Texas, where it's supposed to be beautiful this weekend. And I think it's going to work out a little bit more to our advantage. And then we're going to end up racing on Sunday instead of Friday, Saturday. We're going to race Saturday, Sunday, and I'm looking forward to racing on Sunday. To be honest, I'm looking forward to a daytime race. I think we're going to gain some extra cars that are, within a 4 or 5 hour drive, because now they don't have to take any days off of work. They can just come race Saturday, Sunday, and not miss any work. So we're hoping that helps out too.
Ray, you mentioned right there, and obviously, I mean, it's the modifieds are going to be at the forefront, but then again, you've got sport mods that are going to be raced for a really damn nice purse as well. I mean, kind of talk about that part, and
Yes, sir.
any drivers that you want to mention that maybe are committed or whatever that are coming down to this, because this is it's going to be one hell of a program, man.
Yeah, I mean, I know all of our locals within the whole Central and South Texas region are planning on coming. And there's so many good guys and good drivers in that group alone. Your Mecklenchecks, your Moppins, your Ray Allen Kohanic, Johnny Torres, and just so many good guys in that class too. And I'm sorry if I'm forgetting a few others, but there's a lot of good guys. And then I know, as far as I know, there's some other guys coming from North Texas that are damn good. Cody Smith, I think, is coming, and I mean, that's, doesn't get much, whole lot better than that. So, I don't know if he's registered. I can't keep up, man. There's so many registers coming in, and my dang PR girl's on a cruise ship. She fills me in on a lot of that stuff, but I'm a little behind the 8 ball on some of that. A lot of good talent coming, I promise. A lot of good cars. Jason Ingles is going to be in both. I think he's double dipping. He's going to be in a limited mod and a mod. There's just so many. I get distracted and confused because there's so many, and which is a great problem.
Yeah. So Ray, kind of looking at that, and I think my man Jay Hallis here giving me the intel right before you came on. So it's going to be so on Sunday, the finale. So you're going to open up pit gates at 10, spectator gates at noon, drivers meeting, hot laps, 1 o'clock opening ceremonies, 2 o'clock. I mean is this one of these things where you kind of look at this, kind of going back to what happened in December, now going to January, where it's like, I may be hitting on something here where this is going to be a staple event, and shit, I'm going to run it on Sunday afternoon. Man, this is coming together really nice for you.
I think so. Mike Keelik and I, we talk a lot about, should we do this? Should we do that? What's the downfall? What's the backlash? And I told him straight up, I'm like, man, I think Sunday crowd could be better than a Friday night crowd. We're going to run the day. It's supposed to be 75 degrees out and sunny. I mean, that's awesome. You don't have to sit in cold bleachers at night with wind blowing and everything. You get a nice sunny day to watch racing. I love it.
So Ray, how are you guys doing with track prep? I mean, because I love the more that I've learned. I mean, the track prep and everything is just so. I mean, you mentioned you guys have been working on that. How does that shift around when it comes to because a lot of times when we get rain here, for the folks that are outside of Texas, when we get rain, we get dumped on. I mean, it's nothing or a shitload is what happens around here. How are you guys kind of being a little proactive about that so you don't oversaturate it? Because that can happen also.
Yeah, our track's in great shape. We had couple of practice sessions on it recently, so it's still got a good hard pan to it. So it's in great shape. We've got plenty of tractors, plenty of attachments, and knowledgeable help. So we should be good.
Yeah, awesome.
Got bad connection.
Yeah. There you go. No, it's all right. That's all right. We got a little bit of a delay, but otherwise we got you, so we're good. So again, I'm sorry, Ray. Go ahead.
No, I just want to make sure you heard. And I want the racers to know. We do have plenty of good equipment and a lot of knowledge and experience. We're gonna do whatever it takes to keep the track ready and good. And if we have to do a little track prep in between races, we've built some new attachments for our tractors. We're gonna be able to prep it. We'll be able to prep it, water it, pack it in about 15 minutes each round, if that. So it's going to be good.
Yeah. So a little bit of a shift in the schedule right there. Be sure and check out I-37 Speedway there on Facebook. You'll get the updated stuff. Like we said, everything moving to Sunday will be the finale. But still, Ray, this just jumps off the board. That's why I keep pulling it up. IMC Modifieds, $10K to win, $6,500 for limited modifieds. You add the factory stocks here. They're racing for $1,000. I mean, you're going to have enough pit space. Man, that's a good problem to have, brother.
Yeah. We good thing I own a bulldozer. We cleared some brush and cleaned up some more acreage, and that's on my video today. That's part of the area I was packing in and rolling, because we can host a lot of big rigs out in that area now, and we're prepared, I promise.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's going to be a great weekend. Ray, I do want to ask you, we do want to talk about something special that you and I had kind of gone back and forth with. We'll get to that in just a second, but I do want to pull up your schedule. For the 2025 season. I like what you're doing, Ray. Those Wednesday night races, man. Kind of give me the mindset with that, dude. That's it's unheard of around here. A little hump day racing at I-37, man. That is killer.
Yeah. We're looking forward to that. Little nervous, but we did it once last year. We had a good turnout. So we want to try to test the waters then and build on it. And we're going to have a points fund for the 3 nights. Still trying to pick out the classes. And we're looking for a few sponsors for it. They're not asking for major money or anything. The nice thing is as a sponsor, you're going to get a lot of race on TV time because nobody else is racing on a Wednesday night in Texas and most of anywhere else for that matter.
Yeah, that to me that's the big draw right there. I mean, because you go around the country, you turn on the different stuff, and there's something happening. But in Texas, it just nobody does it. I mean, nobody does it. So I love that, man. That's a big balls move. Last week, Ray, we did the South Texas Race Ranch schedule drop right here. Owen was talking about
Yes,
you
sir.
guys. I mean, I think 37 in the Race Ranch, man. That's a match made in heaven because you guys pull a lot of the same crowd. Kind of talk about that, dude. That's a major win, I think, for both racetracks.
Yeah, Owen and I and Mike, we worked hard on this together this year. I think it's a little easier for Owen to work with us this year because he's not tied down to 3 tracks. It's just 1 or 2, I guess. So it makes it a little easier on him to schedule with us. Really excited. We don't have any nights on top of each other. Him and I are actually talking about doing a little points fun. We're thinking about kicking around the idea of you use 3 or 4 of your best races at each track, and then we kind of maybe have a dual points deal there to help build up, common classes and just build some excitement and try to encourage guys to support both tracks.
Yeah. I love that they added the fireballs. I mean, because you speak to that, dude, that you added there, that's saving a lot of old race cars and a lot of old race car drivers getting to race again, man. And that has just taken off. That has just taken off like fire.
Yeah, man. I still think I'm gonna toot my own horn, man. I came up with that name because I'm sick and tired of, hot stock, super stock, and whatever, man. Like I just wanted something fresh and something different, and it's catchy, so I think it's good for it, and it's really rolling off everybody's tongues, man. They like it, so I'm really proud of that, and I'm really proud of our rules and the direction that the class is headed. Owen picked it up. He's going to run them. We talked about everything. We're really working hard on that together too. So it's awesome. I love seeing it. I'm trying to buy 2 more fireballs right now as we speak, just so I can get them going and sell them or raffle them. You know what I mean? Just to help build the class even more, because they're just out there, like you said. They're old asphalt cars and old dirt cars, and this is perfect class for them. And we knew that. That's why we started this, and it's working out.
Yeah. So Ray, I kind of teased it a while ago. You and I going back and forth there, getting this set up. Talk about so something that you came up with the top 3, because you're going to have obviously the 6,500 to win sport odd race. It's going to bring in a lot of big names.
Yep.
The $10,000 win modified race coming up this weekend there at I-37. All of that main events coming up on Sunday. Kind of talk about what you threw out at me right there, where a good opportunity here in a lot of people getting ready for Super Bowl squares and doing all this other shit. I think we got some I-37 squares that could be happening right here with this weekend's events.
Yeah, I want to try to offer $100 to each classes, limited mods and modifieds. If you can pick, I guess it's called a trifecta. I'm not much of a gambling guy, right? But if you could pick the top 3 in perfect order I'll give you $100. So I'd say Saturday at midnight, your picks have to be locked in before. Does that sound like doable to you? Does that make sense?
I like that. And I'm going to be on the road, but the thing about it is I'll be done 10 o'clock, whatever night. So it can go whether on y'all's page and guys do this super clear to where it's like, okay, limited mod and you list them, modified list them. We don't need all the reasons why. We don't need the reasons why Jared Hoppin's going to win.
No, keep it clean.
Keep it clean and don't say Rodney Rodriguez ain't simple. Yep. Either on the 37 page.
I'm struggling for reception. I'm sorry. Okay. We'll do. It's got to be perfect. You got to have first, second, and third place in order. Their name. You know what I mean? And like I said, midnight Saturday night. So you're gonna get to watch, and you're gonna get to see who's more likely in the show. You know what I mean? And your prediction for Sunday. So it'll be fun. It's just something fun to kind of keep you entertained, kind of like fantasy football.
Exactly. So do it on the 37 page. You can do it on the Revved Up page. If you do it on the Revved Up page, be sure and tag I-37 in case I miss something. Ray and them will see it because we want to make sure that everybody's in top 3 order.
I'll do a special post and asking everybody to post their votes here, and we'll keep it on one page for us.
All right, my man. Ray, congratulations on this big event. Have at it, man.
I got one more thing. More thing, buddy. Something very meaningful to us all, and I don't want to overlook it, is the Jamie Campbell Memorial coming up on March 8th. We are, I'm pretty sure, I haven't announced it yet, but it's the best place to do it. But our goal is to pay $2,900 to win for modifieds. It was Jamie's favorite class. That dude was Mr. IMCA rules. I mean, forget the rule book. I just go to Jamie. You could ask him any rule or anything you want to know about IMCA modifieds, and he knew it. And he was right all the time. And modifieds were his favorite class. We're working on running mods and late models, but right now the modifieds are going to pay $2,900 to win. So we're going to pay $10,000 to win this weekend. Come back, a little over a month, pay $2,900 to win. So it means a lot to us. We're going to try to raise a little bit of money for his wife and daughter, he was unfortunately, is gone and left behind, and they want to help him a little more. So we're going to try to raise a little money, and we're going to figure all those details out.
Absolutely. That is coming up March the 8th, and that is right there at I-37. And again, there's that modified push. So really good thing right there. Again, everything has pushed to Sunday. The schedule's just kind of gone a day later. Check out I-37 Speedway on Facebook. And again, we'll get all of that out. And don't forget about that top 3 contest. All right, Ray, you guys get after it, man. Best wishes. Congratulations on this big race, and go kick some ass, dude. I know that you guys do it each and every time out there at 37.
Yes, sir. Thanks for all y'all's support and your help and getting the word out there.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
All right, man. Be well. Good luck, and I'll check in with you after. You bet. There he goes, Ray Doyon. And that is a massive event that's going to be going on there at I-37 Speedway. You can check it out, like he said, on their Facebook page. And again, with that, I like the idea of that contest that's going to be going on right there. Just kind of one of those things to make it a little more fun, I think, for folks. And again, the way that's going to work, go to the I-37 page. Super easy to find on Facebook, I-37 Speedway. Pull it up. I mean, if different things pull up, look for that I-37 logo. You absolutely will not miss it. And what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to pick the top 3. It's very much like a horse race. What you're wanting to do is pick the top 3, and you're going to have to pay attention to their page to know who is it. As a matter of fact, and this is a perfect segue, because when it comes to big events like this, there is actually only one way to follow, and that is on My Race Pass. Here's a word from our friends at My Race Pass.
Welcome to the My Race Pass app, the #1 app for motorsports fans. We want to make sure you get the most out of your My Race Pass app experience. With your new free account, you can use the My Race Pass app to see race day information, including event entries and official lineups and results for over 600 organizations across North America. You can also see track information and purchase online event tickets for select tracks. With your free account, you can also search for a track or series on the MyRacePass app and favorite their profile to receive news and race day notifications on your mobile device. To see more information and to see which app subscription is best for you, be sure to visit getmrpapp.com. MyRacePass,
the only way to follow along right there with your regular events and different some other features right there that you have, and it's something that tracks or series have to do themselves. You actually now have on the I spent a lot of time with the My Race Pass folks over in Tulsa there at the Chili Bowl. You have announcer audio. I know that there are different ways right there to be able to obtain announcer audio. If you're not able to get to the racetrack, maybe you don't have, maybe you don't have the screen, you don't have a streamer or whatever. If you have the My Race Pass app and you have that subscription, that's included in there. You get the announcer audio live, as you're watching the thing go on right there, and it's in live time right there. So a really cool thing there. Not only that, there's also fantasy racing involved. And when you get into the really big events, I don't know if it's going to be happening at 37 with the volume of race cars that they're going to have. Maybe it will. I don't know. I'm not speaking for My Race Pass out, but you can play fantasy racing right there. It's broken into different groups right there. You go in and you pick a driver out of each and every group, and you're competing against people from everywhere. I was super excited at the Chili Bowl. I finished 248th out of 1,000 something. So that's just how many people are doing that. So where I was going with that, when you're going to do those race picks to try to win the $100 there from Ray Doyon at I-37, I highly recommend that you download the My Race Pass app. And this is a free thing for My Race Pass, by the way. Go in there, download that app, see who's there. See what they've done at that point. And that's where you can figure out who's there. And I also, my man Jay Hallis is checking in once again. And thanks to Jay for the intel right there about the event shifting on Sunday. Jay will be on LoneStarSpeedZone.com. You can also go there. He will have his race results checking in there, so you can do that as well. It's $100. It's a little bit of scratch that you can get. You're going to be watching the thing on Race On anyway, so give it a shot. Give it a shot. It's just a little something else that Ray came up with that I think is going to make it a hell of a lot of fun to be watching that. And again, that schedule has shifted. Main event's coming up on Sunday. More details on the Facebook page at I-37 Speedway. Big weekend that we just saw. As we're getting into, you've got a lot of the national and different things. We had the 24, the Rolex 24 was going on yesterday. And speaking of how times have changed and talking about how NASCAR does things different and how just the whole business of racing has changed so much. I remember back in the old days of watching the Rolex 24 before. It wasn't a Rolex 24 back in those days, but you would watch it and whatever class it was. I mean, the top GTOs or whatever it was. I mean, you had these guys, these teams that were winning by half a day. I mean, it was just that different back at that time, to where you didn't have the competitiveness of this that you have right now. I got up yesterday and I checked back in on the Peacock to see what was going on with the Rolex 24, and three of the four series were still in like where you were in the final hour, and it was still not a done deal, to where you had competitors and teams that were 5 seconds apart. I mean, it was that tight at that time. And that just tells you how much that has changed as well, to where it's really cool to see the advancement in that, to where, I mean, it's 24 freaking hours. And these guys are still out there through the night on Saturday night racing there at Daytona. These guys are putting down hot laps. These guys are putting down hot laps. And that's where we talk about the Cup Series, and you see it on the dirt side. These cars don't break down anymore. I mean, you may wreck, you may get thrown out, whatever may happen is going to happen right there. But the durability of the machine is not something that's in question at all anymore. And never more evident there than yesterday with the Rolex 24 and Penske. Penske wins again. They go back-to-back. Felipe Nasser, big win for him there, as they're able to pull that off there with Penske Porsche Racing. Roger Penske, Ford, Porsche, dudes everywhere. Roger Penske, really cool stuff right there. The Rolex 24. Talked about the event happening over at I-37 Speedway. That's way down south. Now we're going to go up north because we had a schedule drop that happened just the other day, and now there's an event coming up this weekend. And again, like I keep prefacing everything that I'm talking about tonight, it's weather permitting, and this is why I say keep in tune with your racetrack. Know what they're doing on their social medias. Welcoming to the Revved Up Sports Show, it is our man Ryan Miller. It's Big O Speedway happening over in Ennis. How you doing, my friend?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, sir. I'm doing well. Thank you for diving in here with me this evening. So, you guys, first and foremost, Hot Lap Saturday. How'd everything look for you guys out there?
Oh, it was good. I wasn't able to make it. And I had prior obligations for my kids' softball. It's their senior year, so
Oh,
got to
nice.
take care of family first.
Yes, sir. Got to
But
take care of
it was
that.
all good, though.
Absolutely. So let's talk about this weekend. You guys, when the event set, I was talking to Ray Doyon from I-37 down south right before you. This stuff never stops, Ryan. The shit just goes on. You take a little bit of a pause, and boom, here we go. Talk about what you have going on this weekend.
Yeah, we got a little winter fest going on this weekend. We're going to feature the limited modifieds, the factory stocks. We're bringing in the stock cars and street stocks, combining them together there. Also the eco mods and the late models.
Wow, that's a good bill right there. That's a very good bill right there. Any ideas on early interest for you guys right there? I think the idea of being able to combine some stuff, I think that's going to bring guys out not only to win, but maybe figure out what they have before we get full tilt into this thing.
Yeah, guys have been reaching out all week. Within actually the last month, everybody's been reaching out from all around. Happy about coming out and trying it out. So we'll see how it goes.
Yep. So Ryan, I mean, I hate to even ask it because I had to mention it there with Ray. I think for you guys, whether in any thoughts, is there going to be a backup plan here? Maybe pushing stuff out, just to kind of get ahead of stuff for folks at this point.
Ooh, yeah, it shows weather for us on I think Wednesday and Thursday, but it looks like we're gonna have a sunny day on Friday, so we should be all right. We got guys that work the track that do a good job getting it ready and making sure we're ready to go. But if it does rain out, unfortunately, we'll probably just reschedule for another day.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Ryan. So you've got that one coming up. You guys did a schedule drop, and you guys, with sorry about that, with money and so forth. I mean, you released the purses and so forth. Talk about the anticipation into 2025, different schedule drops and so forth, and a lot of people are saying they're heading to Big O. I think you guys got some big stuff on the horizon out there.
Yes, sir. We know the economy's bad. We want to pay it back to the racers. If they show up, 20 cars, it's gonna be 1,000 to win each class there. If it's less than 20 cars, it's gonna be 500 to win. It's hard to go anywhere and race around the DFW area. It's gonna pay $500 a night to win.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone 20 cars and paying $1,000.
Yeah. Ryan, you stole my thunder right there. I mean, talk about that part right there because it is hot and heavy competition out there in the north part of Texas in DFW because so many great racetracks to be a part of. What do you guys like to kind of pride yourself in to be able to win those guys? I mean, I hate to say that it's tracks competing, but I mean, you really are. I mean, unfortunately, because there are so many different great places to race up there.
Unfortunately, we are. I mean, my goal is to get the guys in there and run a timely show and get them in and out of there in a timely manner. I like to try to be done within 2.5, 3 hours. I mean, I don't like being there all night long just as well as anybody else or their family or their kids, sitting in the stands watching them. They don't want to. My goal is to get them out of there as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's really a big deal there. That's a really big deal. Looking at your schedule right there, I mean, obviously the factory stocks and sport mods. I mean, that's going to get the big attention. But kind of talk about the importance. I mean, when it comes to ecos and junior limiteds, stock cars. There's a lot of stock car racers, outlaw stock cars, and so forth. Kind of talk about that with some of those non-factory stocks or sport mods, because it's a big part of the show and they bring a lot of people through the turnstiles.
Yeah, the stock cars and the street stocks, we're only going to race those like every other week, a couple times a month. All the other classes will be every week. The junior limited class, you got to have a class like that to bring the kids in, the younger kids in, and younger generation in to racing. Then they can either move their junior limited up to eco mod and race the eco mod class, or they can race the limited with it. Whichever stepping stone they want to go to next.
Yeah. Have you guys seen a lot of that? I know over in Waco, there's been a couple of guys that have made that jump, and there's more that are coming this year, and so some ladies in there that are on that same path right there. I just love the way that is set up right there, because that's really a great path to where you can step yourself up and you don't have to dive into a late model or a modified or all that. It's a really cool setup with the junior limited.
Yeah, the junior limited, I think it's a good class. It's a good age group for kids, and we also have the go-kart track there on the racetrack too that we're racing on Friday night. So a kid can race a go-kart on Friday night and come and race his junior limited on Saturday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan, we were talking about the big modified show coming up here at 37 this weekend. Talk whatever you're comfortable talking about. The status of modifieds and so forth up there at DFW. I mean, I know there's different series and different whatevers that come through, because a lot of people now, it's one of those things where when the modifieds were still around, you didn't have people saying, I want to see a lot of modifieds, but now that the modifieds have kind of slipped away, people are like, I want modifieds. Status of modifieds up y'all's way up there in DFW.
Man, I love watching a good modified race. They put on a good show, a good group of guys. They put on a good show, and we don't really run the modifieds at our track because they got a good thing going at the other tracks. We don't want to step on their toes and interfere with all that and make a less car count, So,
yeah.
Maybe something together and do something, but right now we really don't run the modifieds.
Yep, absolutely. BigOSpeedway.com, the place to go to get that schedule that I keep pulling up right there.
Yeah.
And again, the big event coming up right there, the Big O Winterfest, 8 classes of cars. And I like what you guys are doing. Ray was talking about that little Saturday afternoon matinee, man. Those daytime races kind of cool.
Yeah, they are. They get you in there in a time that matters, especially in this time of the year. I mean, it gets cold when the sun starts going down, so try to get in and out of there before the sun goes down, and makes it more enjoyable for the fans, the family, and the racers themselves.
Yep, no doubt about it.
We also got on February the 22nd, $2,500 to win, $100 to start factory stock race. No entry fee, 1-day show.
Wow, what's that date again? I'm sorry, Ryan. I need to write that down.
I've shared the flyer. February.
Okay.
We've shared the flyer around.
February 22nd. That's going to be a good one right there, Big O. Factory stocks. Kind of talk about that, man. Factory stocks. All the rage, man. That brings them out, doesn't it? And with the purse that you guys are paying, I think that's it's gonna keep your pits pretty full. It seems like.
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, we're trying to get back to the racers this year to give them, a little more something to race for. And I'm going on, I guess, almost my 3rd year going on to doing this, and trying to give back to the racers. And I think we're going in the right path. We're getting there.
Oh, 3 years, Ryan. Why in the hell do you keep doing this, man? It's it's like everyone I talk to, it's like I'm taking on this job. I'm like, do you really have any freaking idea what you're getting into? It's frustrating as shit, but when it's all said and done, it's really, really cool to just be able to do this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a full-time job, really. I mean, I understand you can't please everybody, but man, I tell people when they come, if you leave here unhappy, that's on you. Come to me, let me try to fix it, and let's try to work through this and whatever we can do to make it better. So,
Absolutely.
I want everybody to leave happy. I want everybody to come have fun. good night of racing, go home, enjoy their family, and come back the next week.
That's right. That's right. And don't get on social media and start venting all of your pissed offness. That's not the place.
Yeah, they tag me in a lot of stuff, and they can't bait me into it, so I just don't even get on there and comment anything. If they got anything to say, I'm an easy guy to get a hold of. I'm an easy guy. I'm always at the racetrack. I mean, I'm everywhere. I go when I'm not at Big O. I go to another racetrack. I was down at Corpus whenever they had the December race.
Yep.
With Mason Martin that won the race there. I mean, when we're not racing, I try to go everywhere else just to see how they do it and kind of get some ideas, see if I can focus that on our deal too. So,
isn't that the thing, Ryan? When people, when they're pissed off at the racetrack and they want to get on there and post or whatever, I'm like, that thing is a phone. It still has a dial pad. You can call somebody and have a conversation. You don't have to get on there and post and hit send and make everybody look bad. I mean, just pick up the phone and hash it out. Have a conversation. Old school. Hell, write a letter. I mean, anything. Just don't make yourself and the Speedway look bad.
Yeah, they can't do that. But there's a few people like to be keyboard warriors, so we just let them do that. I guess we got to have all that to make it go around.
Let them do it and block their ass. That's definitely the way to do it. Ryan, best wishes coming up in 2025 out there at Big O and Ennis. I'm going to come see you guys. I'm going to be traveling DFW a lot, so I'm going to find time to come visit and check out the show. Good luck this weekend, and looking forward to that big factory stock race coming up as well in February.
Yep. Appreciate you having me. Have a good day.
Absolutely. Take care. There he goes, Ryan Miller. Big one coming up this weekend there at Big O Speedway, and that's in Ennis. That's right there along that 35 corridor that I was talking about. So we've gone from 37 up 35 over to 35 over to Ennis, all the way from Pleasanton. You remember that show that they used to have on PBS? I think it was channel 18 up here in Austin. That PBS show was the Weekend Traveler or whatever that show was called. That's kind of what we just did right here. So we went on a path. You went through. We started in Pleasanton, took you over to San Antonio, through Cibolo, went through New Braunfels and saw all the cool stuff there. Saw San Marcos, went through Austin, sat in traffic, and probably hit the tollway and dove off, did a little Georgetown action, dove off, hit the 35 south or 35 northeast, went over there and went over to Ennis. That's exactly the ride that we just took on the Revved Up Sports Show livecast. Once again, here is what you have coming up Saturday there at Big O Speedway in Ennis. 8 classes of action. And again, that is a daytime show. It's going to be a daytime show as planned. And as he talked about, it looks like it's going to be all good for them as the way that one is all set up to go. The other show that we were previewing this evening is that Texas Showdown. And again, thanks to my man, Jay Hallis. Here's the updated schedule. So I'm pulling that up right there simply so you can see the badass graphics and the money that's going to be involved here. But here is the updated schedule. Friday, January 31st, final day of January. The final day that you can get a hold of my man, Tom McKay, over at Audiovisual Consultations if you want that home Speedway system in time for the Super Bowl. Friday, practice night. Gates open at 3, practice from 6:30 to 9:30. You're going to have a pit party, free barbecue and beer with your wristband. Saturday, February 1st, that's race night number 1. Pit gates at 3. Gates for spectators at 4 o'clock. Drivers need to check in by 5:45. So if you're traveling, your ass needs to be there because the drivers meeting starts at 5:45. Hot laps are going to fire off right after that. Opening ceremonies at 6:30. Then on Sunday, a Sunday afternoon matinee. So if you really want to be a go-getter, you can catch a daytime show over at Ennis, and then you can drive your ass down to Pleasanton and catch another daytime show. And the way that this works out, race night number 2 on Sunday at I-37, pit gates at 10, spectator gates at 12, drivers meeting right there at 12. Hot laps are going to commence immediately. Opening ceremonies at 1 o'clock, and then you get going at 2. That is the new updated schedule for the Texas Showdown happening at I-37. Again, $100 on the line right there if you can dive in and pick the top 3 in order, like a horse race, top 3 of your limited modifieds, top 3 of your IMCA modifieds. That's on the I-37 page, or the other thing, the big or, if you do it on the Revved Up page, feel free to do it on the Revved Up page. What I need you to do, give me that top 3. And again, like we talked about, limited modified 1, 2, 3. Modified 1, 2, 3. We don't need to know why on their page or my page. We don't need to know why. Put them in order. Tag I-37 because we got to marry those things together. That way, everybody's able to do that. And again, that needs to happen by midnight Sunday morning. Midnight on Sunday morning. Need to have those in. That way we have all of that. So big events coming up. Really looking forward to both of those as we go across the state of Texas with what's coming up this weekend here on the Revved Up Livecast. A couple of other things that I did want to talk about before we get out of here. I was talking about the Kevin Harvick race there or Kevin Harvick's track there at Kern County as they've integrated what was to be happening there at Bakersfield. Now you've got a full entertainment complex, full racing complex that Kevin Harvick has put together right there. So they did have there at Kern County, you did have a Cars Tour super late model race. Dawson Sutton winning in that race. Again, that's one of these up and comers right there. The Dawson Sutton over on the pavement side. You really need to keep your eye on that dude because he's doing things at a really masterful pace right now. Harvick able to finish second right there in that race as he raced in the number 29. Kind of going back to the 24 Rolex 24, a really good run there for Connor Zilic. And Connor Zilic, we saw the return of Red Bull to the NASCAR Cup Series. It'll actually happen right here in my backyard as they get set to go at the end of February over at Circuit of the Americas in the Echo Park Grand Prix that's going to be happening there at COTA. So you'll have the double tandem opportunity right there with the Red Bull cars with Shane Van Gisbergen, odds on, going to be one of the odds on favorites right there. And then Connor Zilic. So Zilic making some big moves right there, and Zilic racing in the Rolex 24. And the strides that this dude continues to make is really tremendous to watch. And, going back to the conversation that I was having at the first part of the program, when it comes to Harvick and Larson and Kyle Busch and all of these, now grizzled veterans that we have in the sport right now that have their youngsters, a part of this. And this is where I go back to, you remember when Kyle Petty was breaking into. Kyle Petty wins the ARCA race, I think in 1979 at Daytona. And it's like to see these guys and the path that some of the now legendary guys, Busch, Harvick, Larson. I mean, look at the resume Larson has. And you look at Larson. Larson is not near done, but he's already got a kid that's going to be coming through the ranks and going to do really, really special stuff. And there is your thank you, Ryan. February 22nd, factory stocks, $2,500 to win. I misquoted that. $2,500 to win at Big O Speedway. Mark that down. That's over in Ennis. $2,500 to win on February 22nd. So there you go. I mean, it's going to be a very busy month of February with the racing that's going to be going on here around the state of Texas. Got to talk about. It was a really cool weekend over at Volusia. We're just on the cusp of things that are about to happen here. When we talk about pavement and dirt and pavement and Daytona fixing to fire things off, you've got Bowman Gray, the clash at Bowman Gray. It's going to be happening this weekend. I mean, your thoughts on that, whatever they may be. The bottom line of that is it's kicking off. I know it's not at Daytona. Speed Weeks has kicked off because you just had the Rolex 24. And the other part of it is for short track fans and for short track racers is that we just had tremendous late model event that went on this weekend for the World of Outlaws late models over at Volusia. And what a show we saw there. And you had the Rogers Dab Chevrolet, the crate late models were out. It was total late model domination this past week at the fastest dirt half mile that you're going to find. And when we talk about, talking to Ray and talking to Ryan right there about weather stuff and track preparation and all of the different things that go into this, how about that crew of Volusia? that place, that place right there, leading up to what we saw at the end of the weekend right there, that Florida was pummeled. I was, different folks, my friends from Pensacola that are posting stuff on social media. When I see Five Flag Speedway, I see Mobile, I see Montgomery, and I see these places that look like stock tanks covered in snow. Come on, man. What does that tell you? So to see that Volusia was able to get in there and put the racetrack together that they did this past weekend, and it's one thing when you're doing track prep for little cars, like we call them. If it's going to be a dwarf car race, or it's going to be a midget race, or it's going to be one of these different things. Not a lot of weight, but when you get these late models that are on the bar and they're back there leaning on that, they're diving in on that right front and the different things that you see right there. It was just a great job by the crew at Volusia to be able to get all of that put together. You had a little bit of track time that was allotted to get in there and work on the track, and you have to be patient. You have to be ready for that, because they really did. I mean, they had a lot. They had a lot of water in that racetrack, and Volusia did a hell of a job to get that ready. And of course, you're going to have Volusia that's going to get off and going. You're going to have full cars of racing each and every night coming up here within the next week and a half. Then you're going to go to the pavement side. You're going to have New Smyrna that's going to be rolling. I mean, you've got all of those big events that are coming up at New Smyrna. So if you happen to be able to get yourself down to Daytona, it's one of those things where, as a short track fan, you look and you have the Daytona 500 and you have all these different events that are pulled in around NASCAR and all of that. But then if you're able to go to Volusia, if you're able to go to NSS, it's like, that's the shit that you're really going to have a lot of fun at. And then it's, oh, by the way, let's go to the 500. So all of that's really about to take off, because it's speed weeks that are about to happen. But good little caveat, good little preview on Friday night. The Reaper Ryan Gustins, the winner on Friday night. The dude got up at the front of the pack right there and took off. Jonathan Davenport, Overton, the top three right there. Tim McCready able to finish in the top 5. Then you go over to Saturday, and the whole thing about the Saturday event was kind of correlating back to the Friday, because one of the names, we've talked to Storm and Steve Sims on this program a couple of different times. One of our staples in racing here in the state of Texas. But you've got the family, collaboration, you got the family relationship right there with Garrett Alberson, and Garrett Alberson misses the Friday night show by one spot. Not able to punch his ticket into the Friday night show there with the World of Outlaws dirt late models. Asserts himself on Saturday. I mean, comes out, puts himself into the show, starts third, and Garrett Alberson wins that race. And the race back and forth with Jonathan Davenport. I mean, JD, couple of second place finishes right there. I mean, he had an average finish a second with everything that we saw, but obviously Jonathan Davenport is not happy with second. But when you look at it big picture, I mean, he won the week. I mean, he won the weekend, coming in there in the second spot. But Garrett Alberson, in my opinion, with what we have watched, just the progression that we've watched him. I mean, he gets the win last year, but then he wins Saturday night. And the last, 10 laps of that race, it was just incredible to watch him and Davenport going back and forth, and the respect that you see that a lot of these seasoned late model guys have for him already. He's a younger dude. I mean, he's newer to this. So when you look at these different racers that are part of this dirt late model series right now, this guy's new. This guy's new, and he has the respect of these guys that know that they're going to race with him, and they're going to have one hell of a race. They're going to drive their ass off, but they know that he's going to do everything in his power to keep it a clean race. And it was never more evident than we saw on Saturday night with Alberson punching that ticket and winning at New Smyrna. And I am here to tell you that I truly think that this is for Alberson. This is about to be the 2025. I mean, the dude's already broken out. This is a name. This is a guy that when you talk about these big dirt late model events, that name is always in the conversation. I think this is a year that it becomes a household name it becomes a household name. When you talk about these different guys, when you talk about Jimmy Owens, when you talk about JD, I mean, when you talk about Max Blair, third place on Saturday night, when you talk about these guys, Garrett Albertson's going to be right there at the top. He already is. And now winning that one this early in the season is really getting him set for, I think, what is going to be a breakout 2025 year. And I will tell you, could not happen to a better dude. Absolutely could not happen to a better dude. Other news that I want to touch on before we get you guys out of here, to go watch the golf. Watch the cool golf thing that's going on. No football. None of that's on. You can watch some basketball. We're kind of be in that dead period. Turn on Flow. Turn on Race On. Turn on Dirt Vision. There's something there. It's not live, but it'll get you passed over. Racing America. Turn that on. There's plenty of stuff on there for you guys. News that I saw right at the end of last week, Texas related, Rocket Raceway Park. Kevin Sestair, he's been on the show again multiple times talking about the different things that not only that he's done there, but here in the last year and a half or so, the times that we've had Sestair on here, it's been talking about the different events and everything going on at Rocket Raceway Park. And he has taken that facility over there in Petty and done really great things with it. And, you know, moving forward into 2025, no reason that it was not going to be anything other than what we've watched the place build itself into with the leadership there of Kevin Sestair. Well, see at the end of the week right there that our friends over at Race On have purchased that facility. And, you know, making the move over for them, obviously that's a streaming company that is now, you know, going to take stake and going to put themselves with the promoter hat on and the different nuances and everything that's going to be involved right there. And you know, I got different messages from folks. And again, I'm not an employee of Race On. When you hear me on there, it's one of those things that I happen to be working at that racetrack, and I'm the voice of that racetrack, and that's my only tie to them. If you have a problem with a subscription, if you can't get your shit to work, you always get the same response from me. I'm like, don't call me. I don't know. I'm just here working. But they're making that crossover, I think, is something that kind of tells you the state of how dirt track racing is really blossoming here in Texas, that they have found their way into an ownership group, and they've gone in and done what, you know, the South Texas IMCA Modified Series did, you know, now powered with on-demand shirts. They've gone in and partnered up with Kevin Rogers. And, you know, there are so many people in this. I used to joke, I didn't joke about it. I said this a long time ago, to where it was like, you know, when it came to me, when I first started into the streaming and broadcasting and announcing, you know, there were just a few people on a few fingers right here, you know, that I would say most influential when I started in this part of my journey into racing. It was going to be, number one, Neil Upchurch, just with everything that he did. Nick Holt, with the way that he promoted and still continues to do Lone Star Speed Zone, but the different nuances that he has given us in the past. And Marianne Nauman, you know, with the Wallace family, with her time that she has done. Marianne's still there. Marianne's still a part of that, because she's still operating Cotton Bowl Speedway, and their schedule is out and it's jam packed, and they got World of Outlaws coming in March. They've added junior limiteds, and there's nothing to tell me that nothing's going to change. Folks, don't panic when dinglings start posting shit about racetracks for sale. Cotton Bowl Speedway is always for sale. That is nothing new. When somebody says, "Oh, look at this," it's been for sale. It's been for sale. Marianne and HE have a lease on that place. That place is set. Nothing is going to change. There's lots of different reasons why that place ain't going to sell. So don't worry. Don't worry. Don't put your shit off thinking that racetrack's going to be gone. Back to what my whole point is. Marianne's still on that list. Kevin Rogers right now has put himself in a situation to where he not only with Stems, but the different things that he does with KR Promotions, now with some involvement there with Race On and all that, where he's very much a part of that picture. Oh, and Pittman. I mean, those are folks right there that if you really want to help grow in the state of Texas, and for the folks checking in outside of the state of Texas, you may not recognize some of these names, but you can Google these names. And these are the people that really keep the shit happening around here. I mean, Owen Pittman was on the show last week. We have one asphalt track in the state of Texas. It was booming state of Texas. And Owen Pittman is the one that promotes it. They're with Dean Baker. And so they're doing everything that they can to keep that alive. And to me, that's influence, and that's big balls, because it takes a lot to hang your ass on the line and be able to do that. But I think that's for Rocket Raceway Park already, with the events that are already in place, and to where Kevin Sestair and his wife had already taken that. And I think now that you're going to have this, it's a lot of times when you have a change in ownership, when you have a change in promotions, when you have a change in whatever you want to call it, it's one of those things to where it's like a breath of fresh air. And that's not the case, I think, with Rocket Raceway Park, because what you have with Rocket Raceway Park is, now that you have this change, it's a momentum shift. It's like having one hell of a north wind behind you, because it's only going to push them to do bigger and greater things. So congratulations to all of those new folks that are a part of that effort at Rocket Raceway Park over in Petty. Really looking forward to everything that's going to be going on right there. End of the week, you've got the over at Alltech Raceway. You've got them blowing and going. The Winter Nationals coming up. That's Thursday through Saturday. Again, that's over in Lake City, Florida. So you'll be able to pull that stuff in. If you're tired of watching reruns, tired of watching reruns of this show, tired of watching reruns of whatever on all the different race streamers, you got some live stuff that's going to be coming up for you there at the end of the week. That's hey man, I'm telling you, we're just on the cusp of everything that's about to get going. Do want to touch on, before I get out of here, you guys know I love Supercross, and we're in Supercross. Anaheim 2 going on, just happened this past Saturday. Jet Lawrence, one of those names where some of those new names that have started to assert themselves in Supercross in that 450 class. You've got the young Deegan that's racing over in the 250s. That's going to push himself into 450s and is going to be racing with the likes of Jet Lawrence. Jet Lawrence wins over in Anaheim. Here's some words courtesy of our friends over at Peacock and NBC Sports. This is Jet Lawrence after he wins at a 2.
This is different from Anaheim 1 there 2 weeks ago. This one's got to feel good to get that done, but it was not handed to you. That was pretty tough out there.
Yeah, no, you had to be very patient. Like, Jason was riding really well, and I was struggling to find anywhere to gain heaps on him or to try and make a pass, and you kind of had to get a little risky in the whoops. I mean, it was the only spot I could really find. They were very edgy. I think we both got sketchy going through them at that time, but no, I just was very patient and just try not to rush anything, and just lap by lap, just hit my marks. The rain, my goggles was fogging up a bit, but no, we're happy to get that. We're better than last time we were at A1, so that's good. So, on to the next round in AZ, and just try and just keep clicking off good podiums. And, super pumped.
Absolutely. Jet Lawrence, the winner right there at Anaheim 2. Yeah, just motocross outside. It one of those things where the state of California, when Supercross starts out and they're doing that, and then they'll go over to San Diego. I believe the only stop once again in Texas is going to be over at AT&T Stadium once again. Houston not on the schedule any longer, but if you can get yourself over, because those Supercross shows a lot like these big dirt track racing shows, to where you have, it's a very packaged event that's put together. There is a timeline. With Supercross, obviously they're able to keep to that a hell of a lot better than you're able to do it at a car race, because you're dealing with a two-wheeler. And when you get, I mean, it doesn't happen very often at a Supercross event where they're going to go in and repack the track and going to go in and doctor the track and do all these different things. There's ruts that are up to my waist, and they're just fucking going to let it run through it. So that's why I say all the different things about Supercross. Odd note in Supercross, just in the past, because I've followed Supercross for a long time. For the first time in 10 years, Suzuki with the red plate, which just goes to show you that motorsports is shifting around a little bit. The competitiveness, the parity, we're starting to see a hell of a lot more in all different genres of racing. Ironically, Ken Roczen A guy that if you're a Supercross fan, you're like, oh, that dude's still doing this through everything that he has been through. Ken Roczen is your red plate on a Suzuki in Monster Energy Supercross. This has been a great program tonight. A big thanks to our man Ray Doyon checking in from I-37 Speedway. Again, dive on over. Everything is pushed today out. Sunday's going to be main event day. Don't forget to go on that page and pick your top three. Good chance right there to pick up $100 in the limited modifieds as well as in the modifieds. If you can get the top three in the exact finishing order, be sure and check my race pass. Be sure and check Lone Star Speed Zone with my man Jay Hallis to know who's there and who your contenders are going to be. Big O Speedway. They've got the Winter Chill coming up on Saturday as well. Like I said, if you really want to be a go-getter, you can do Saturday way the hell up there, and you can do Sunday way the hell down here. All of that if you really want to catch some live dirt track action. Once again, as I mentioned at the top of the show, I didn't mention this. I saw some news this morning. Obviously, I've spent a lot of time over the last few years over at Heart of Texas Speedway. My man, Mr. Buddy, that was always one of those guys where usually when I got to I-37, I was either going to run into one of two people when I went through the gate. It was either going to be Mr. Buddy or it was going to be Stacy, because those two are like right there, ready to go each and every time. We lost Mr. Buddy. And that was one of those guys, whether it was going to chase me down a key to get my ass into the press box, or whether it was giving me a ride on a golf cart to get somewhere because I didn't want to walk across the pits, or whatever the case was. Mr. Buddy was a man of many, many hats. And I will tell you that Mr. Buddy would occasionally slide me over a Mick Ultra or two on the down low over at the beer stand, because Mr. Buddy was just a good guy, and we lost Mr. Buddy, and that's going to be a big loss for racing, and a big loss for the racing community, because that dude never met a stranger. that dude never met a stranger. He loved everybody, and our thoughts and prayers there with the family and those that knew Mr. Buddy over at Heart of Texas. He did some time with my man Joe Spillman over at 281. I saw a really nice post from Joe talking about Buddy at 281. That's what Buddy did. I mean, he went racing or he went out and grilled burgers. I mean, he was just a really good dude. And as I mentioned, please do, if you get the opportunity, keep my man Bobby not with us tonight. Keep his family in your thoughts and prayers as well. It's been a really, really rough, we'll say less than 2 months for them. He lost his dad. Of course, we saw, we talked about that here 4 weeks ago, and he lost his mom on Sunday. So they are having one hell of a time right there. So keep them in your thoughts, and just keep those positive vibes over to the Chaffee family. He'll be back the next time that we are live. Thank you all for being a part of this. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share, whether you're on the Facebook page, if you happen to be over on Twitter, if you're on Racing America, you can go to @RevvedUpShow. That is the X handle for the Revved Up Sports Show. Be sure and like that one as well. Share all of these videos, RevvedUpSportsShow.com. You can go there. The live show is there each and every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Central. If you go to the top of the page, that's going to take you right over to RevvedUpSportsShow.tv. I keep giving out pro tips. It's the same shit. But either way, subscribe to those. If you go to the top of the banner at RevvedUpSportsShow.com, that takes you over to .tv. It's going to take you straight to the archives, where if you go in the middle of the page, it's going to take you to the live show. And if you go there as soon as we're done, it's going to give you a replay of this. I don't care how you do it. Like it, subscribe to it on the socials. Really looking to push this thing out as we go into 2025. All right, guys, we'll do it again probably not next Monday. I'll be on the road this weekend. This may be a Tuesday show, maybe a Wednesday show, depending on a couple of different things. But I guarantee you will have a live cast. You will have live content with the Revved Up Sports Show. You guys have a great week. If you're going to be in the path of some of this weather that's going to be going on, keep your eyes to the weather, and just be smart and drive safe if you're going to be out on the road. Catch yourself some live racing somewhere, and I'll be damned if you can't find live racing somewhere. Find a streamer that is supporting a racetrack and check that out there. All right, guys, #Real Race Talk. We'll do it again next week. My name is Rodney Rodriguez, deep in the heart of Texas. Thank you all for being a part of the program. We'll see you next time on the Revved Up Sports Show.